Recent developments indicate a significant shift in the geopolitical landscape as Germany, France, and Denmark collectively challenge U.S. President Donald Trump's recent policies and statements, leading to a deterioration in transatlantic relations. In his recent meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on March 13, 2025, President Donald Trump made several notable remarks about the EU and Denmark, addressing the topic of Greenland. Trump stated, "We need that for international security. We have a lot of our favorite players cruising around the coast, and we have to be careful." He expressed confidence in the possibility of the U.S. annexing Greenland, saying, "I think that will happen." That was not the only criticism of the EU by President Trump. As said before, during a meeting with Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin on March 12th, President Trump expressed dissatisfaction with the EU's trade policies, stating, "We have a problem with the European Union. They don't take our farm products, they don't take our cars." He further elaborated on the imbalance, noting, "We take millions of cars, BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagens, and we take millions of cars." Trump also highlighted the ongoing dispute between the EU and Apple over alleged tax benefits, asserting, "I'm not happy with the European Union. I want to tell you, we're going to win that financial battle." Denmark, meanwhile, has taken notable action against Tesla amid rising concerns over the company's practices and CEO Elon Musk's behavior. In early 2025, the Danish pension fund, Akademisk Pension, announced plans to blacklist Tesla by selling its remaining shares and adding the company to its exclusion list. Akademisk Pension's decision was driven by multiple issues, including Tesla's alleged anti-labor stance and Musk's controversial conduct. The fund cited Tesla's long history of resisting unions, poor corporate governance, a board comprised largely of friends and family, and Musk's destabilizing public actions. In a statement, Akademisk Pension's CEO, Jens Munch-Holst, argued that Musk's recent interference in politics and support for controversial figures is destroying the brand and the value of Tesla, leaving no prospect of improvement on these issues. Consequently, the fund determined it could no longer justify investing in Tesla. Denmark's backlash is not limited to one investor. Another major Danish fund, Pension Denmark, also dumped its Tesla holdings, reportedly around 400 million kroner worth, due to a labor rights dispute. The trigger was Tesla's refusal to sign a collective bargaining agreement for workers in Sweden, which led to strikes at Tesla service centers. Solidarity actions spread across the Nordics. By late 2023, Tesla's operations in Sweden had nearly ground to a halt as unions stopped delivering Tesla's mail servicing, charging stations, and even refused to issue license plates. Unions in Denmark and Norway warned they would block shipments of Tesla cars in support of the Swedish strike. Faced with Tesla's categorical refusal to sign union agreements anywhere, Pension Denmark put Tesla on its exclusion list in December 2023. Danish labor leaders, including one who sits on Pension Denmark's board, backed the move, citing very significant risks to Tesla's ability to do business if its labor disputes expand. In short, Denmark's institutions have grown increasingly wary of Tesla, penalizing the company for what they see as anti-worker practices and Elon Musk's polarizing behavior, and of Tesla's declining sales and public perception in Europe. These controversies coincide with a steep decline in Tesla's fortunes across Europe. Once enthusiastic European consumers have begun to sour on the brand. According to the European Automobile Manufacturers Association, Tesla's sales in Europe plunged 45% in January 2025 year-on-year, even as competing automakers saw sales rise over 37% in the same period. Early data from February indicated that this downward trend was continuing, signaling tough times ahead for Tesla in the European market. In fact, over the whole of 2024, Tesla's European sales dropped 10.8%, far outpacing the overall market's modest 1.3% decline. This contraction has eroded Tesla's once dominant electric vehicle market share in key countries. Fleet managers and analysts note that Tesla's presence in corporate car fleets is flat or shrinking, while dozens of new EV models, many from European and Chinese rivals, flood the market. One industry CEO observed that Tesla's vehicle lineup now appears quite weak against fresher competition, suggesting the brand needs new offerings to regain momentum. More troubling for Tesla is the hit to its public image. A late January survey by the EV website Electrifying2Com found that 59% of British respondents, both current EV owners and intenders, would refuse to buy a Tesla because of Elon Musk. What was once seen as a cutting-edge, eco-friendly status symbol has for some turned into a source of embarrassment or anger on social media. Disgruntled customers and critics have popularized hashtags like #Tesla Takedown and #Swastic Cars, reflecting outrage at Musk's associations with extremist politics. Numerous Tesla owners have publicly voiced their dismay at Musk's conduct and rhetoric. In the UK, for example, one longtime Tesla driver admitted he loves the car's technology but is getting rid of it because he doesn't want to be associated with Musk's politics. Other former enthusiasts across Europe have echoed similar sentiments of disillusionment. Some report that where they once received admiring glances or thumbs up for driving a Tesla, they now face heckling and rude gestures from onlookers. This shift in public perception, from trendsetter to controversial figure, illustrates how closely Tesla's brand image is tied to Elon Musk's personal reputation. As Musk's popularity suffers among European consumers, Tesla's own goodwill in the market erodes, contributing to the slump in sales and customer loyalty. A key factor behind Tesla's struggles in Europe is Elon Musk's increasingly political and divisive public profile. In recent years, Musk has shed any pretense of political neutrality, instead lending his megaphone to far-right and populist figures who are largely at odds with mainstream European values. For instance, Musk actively promoted Germany's far-right party, Alternative for Deutschland, AfD, in the lead-up to a February 2025 regional election, repeatedly praising the AfD on his social media platform, X, formerly known as Twitter, and even calling it Germany's only hope. Musk went so far as to live-stream an interview with AfD leader Alice Weidel, significantly boosting the party's profile. Notably, the AfD is considered a suspected extremist group by Germany's domestic intelligence service. Although Musk's endorsement ultimately had little effect on the election outcome, it alarmed many Germans and tarnished Tesla's appeal among more moderate customers. And Germany is not the only country where Musk has taken sides. In Britain, he has publicly attacked the Prime Minister and voiced support for the right-wing Reform UK party. In Italy, he forged ties with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, a nationalist leader, with both expressing mutual admiration and shared views, particularly a skepticism of immigration. Musk has also amplified far-right figures in other countries, for example by promoting posts by Romanian ultranationalists and criticizing that country's judiciary. These actions represent an unprecedented level of political involvement for a tech CEO and have been met with sharp disapproval in much of Europe. Musk's ideological leanings have extended to an apparent skepticism of climate and environmental policies, a stance that sits uneasily with Tesla's green mission. After helping bankroll Donald Trump's U.S. presidential comeback with over $277 million in donations, Musk began echoing themes popular among climate policy opponents. He argued that we don't need to rush in addressing climate change, suggesting that urgent climate action might be overzealous. This kind of rhetoric has won Musk praise from notorious climate denial groups such as the U.S.-based Heartland Institute, known for undermining climate science, and hinted that he was turning away from the environmental consensus. At the same time, Musk has become a vocal critic of European environmental regulations. He often complains that Europe's policies are too onerous for innovators, describing the EU's regulatory framework as a layer cake of bureaucracy, and joking that America innovates, Europe regulates. In one instance, after an EU official warned Musk about complying with social media content rules, Musk responded with an obscene meme that underscored his combative stance toward European authorities. This confrontational attitude toward government oversight, especially on issues like disinformation, emissions, and safety standards, has further strained Musk's relationship with EU policymakers. The net effect is that Musk, once seen as a partner in Europe's clean tech future, is now often viewed as a provocateur aligned with far-right and anti-regulation forces. For many environmentally conscious European consumers, a key market for EVs, Musk's behavior undercuts Tesla's eco-friendly brand image. As one Danish pension fund put it, "It is impossible to talk about Tesla without talking about Elon Musk, who has publicly supported controversial political figures, spread misinformation, and criticized governments, driving investors and customers to turn their backs on the company. Musk's political activism has thus become a liability for Tesla in Europe, prompting boycotts, investor weariness, and official scrutiny that were scarcely imaginable a few years ago. European leaders are not only responding to Musk's influence on their domestic politics, but also to broader challenges stemming from the United States, particularly the return of Donald Trump to the world stage. Musk's alignment with Trump and other right-wing figures comes at a time of heightened US-EU tensions on multiple fronts. One flashpoint has been Trump's revived interest in Greenland, an autonomous Danish territory. Trump famously caused a diplomatic spat in 2019 by suggesting the US could buy Greenland. And in his new term, he has refused to rule out using economic or military pressure to seize the island. This startling position, essentially treating part of the Kingdom of Denmark as a tradable asset, has unified European officials in outrage. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen reiterated that Greenland is not for sale, reminding the world that the island is part of Denmark's territory and not something to be bartered away. European Union leaders quickly closed ranks behind Denmark. Protecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of an EU member is essential for all member states, declared European Council President Antonio Costa. In response to Trump's remarks, EU leaders vowed to safeguard Greenland and made clear they aren't budging on Trump's demands. Even NATO's Secretary General and former Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte weighed in, offering to bolster Arctic security to defuse any U.S. designs on the area. The message from Europe was unmistakable. Any attempt by Washington to strong-arm Denmark over Greenland would be met with firm resistance. Trade relations between the European Union and the United States have also frayed, forming the backdrop to this geopolitical rift. President Trump has threatened new tariffs on European goods, raising the specter of a transatlantic trade war. European Union officials regard such threats as an attack on Europe's economic stability. At a Brussels summit in February 2020, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen pointedly warned that when targeted unfairly or arbitrarily, the European Union will respond firmly to United States trade aggression. We have to do everything to avoid this totally unnecessary and stupid tariff war, added Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki and European Council Chair Donald Tusk, reflecting Europe's desire to avert a cycle of retaliation. EU leaders nevertheless began preparing contingency plans in case Trump followed through on tariff threats. Their stance balances vigilance with a continued commitment to the transatlantic alliance. Von der Leyen emphasized that the US-EU partnership remains our most consequential relationship, even as Europe signaled it would not be bullied in practical terms. The EU has explored ways to boost its defense and economic autonomy, from allowing greater defense spending to considering policy shields for key industries to reduce vulnerability to US pressure. Within this climate, Elon Musk's actions have not escaped European scrutiny. EU regulators are currently investigating Musk's platform, X, under the new Digital Services Act, amid concerns that his lax approach enables disinformation and extremist content. European authorities recognize Musk's outsized influence online and fear it could shape public opinion, or even flip a country politically toward the far right. As one media policy expert cautioned, such concerns have led to talks of potential EU sanctions if Musk's companies flout European rules. All of these responses, from Denmark's financial blacklist of Tesla to EU officials' public rebukes of Trump's Greenland ambitions, highlight a common theme. Europe is drawing a line against what it perceives as threats to its values, workers' rights, and sovereignty. Tesla's troubles in Europe thus reflect more than just a car company's missteps. They symbolize a transatlantic rift where environmental commitment, political moderation, and mutual respect are being tested. European governments and institutions are making it clear that whether it's a billionaire CEO or a US president, actions that undermine Europe's social and environmental standards or national integrity will meet a resolute pushback. And that's the latest on today's top stories. What are your thoughts? If you'd like to dive deeper into any of these topics or explore related issues, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for tuning in and spending your time with us. Stay informed, stay curious, and we'll see you next time. Take care.